A few years ago, I came across to Sete Sapatos Sujos. This article, for whatever reason, had a very profound effect and impact in my life. It made me look into myself and the environment around me and start to really think critically about things that I didn't bother to think about before. And I remember when I finished reading this article, I felt like Mia Coto was speaking exactly to me. And for those of us who have no idea who Mia Coto is a Mozambican writer and journalist. He has published countless work. And in particular, the work that I'm referring about is Sete Sapatos Sujos, which translates to the seven dirty shoes. And in this article, he makes a very compelling argument that for Mozambique and in a larger picture, the African continent to really move forward, there are seven mental attitudes and frameworks and beliefs that we as the African people would need to leave behind us. And in this video, I want to invite you to reflect about two of these seven dirty shoes. And I'll be focusing on the dirty shoes number 3 and number 7. So let's start with this. The number 3 dirty shoes is that, according to Mia Coto, the Mozambican and the Africans would need to move past the preconceived idea that those who critique are the enemy. I don't know how much that speaks to you, but to me it means a lot. Because I grew up in a society where those who dissented to what our leaders claimed to be the best way of leading our country were seen as the enemy, as threat. I don't know about your country or your city or your maybe even your family. But in order to build an Africa that succeeds, we need to embrace plurality of ideas. We need to embrace the fact that I do not possess the absolute truth. Neither the person next to me or my neighbor for that matter. But all of our insights and inputs, even if we disagree, can lead to something better than I personally could have produced with my reasoning only. And we also need to understand that for democracy to survive, it requires plurality of ideas, that we do not need everybody to share the same thinking, the same reasoning, the same position to coexist peacefully. And to the new rising generation of African leaders, this is an important reflection to consider and even take into heart. Because only by accepting that we do not wield the absolute truth, we can accept those who do not think alike to us. That's why I'm inviting all of us to start having this conversation, to engage in this dialogue, in this process where we come into the conversation acknowledging that we do not possess the absolute truth and that those who do not agree with us are no longer the enemy, but are our friends, and they want us to see something that we might have not been able to see prior to their pointing out that particular element. And the other idea that I want to share with you is the last point that Mia Coto makes in his argument. For many Africans, to be modern is to be like others. And if you read the works of Paulo Freire, for instance, you see very often the same line of thinking. And this is reflected, unfortunately, in a very negative way in our society. We tend, in many parts of Africa, I'll speak as an Angolan, we often see our fellow citizen only believing that by eating using your hands you are not modern, or when you speak your mother tongue you're not modern. Or even at the larger national level, people come to believe that the only way of being modern developed is by industrializing, by becoming like the US or Western Europe or China today. So my invitation is for us to reflect in this conversation and start having this conversation, start sharing insights and inputs. And again, I want to conclude not only by inviting you to, reach out to me and talk and start having this conversation, but take a better look into this article. I'm gonna drop the link below where you can find the article. It's in Portuguese, unfortunately, but I will try the best and make a summary of the 7 dirty shoes for you. So thank you for your time, and I hope to receive some of the information from you, or I hope to get in touch with some of you soon.